and welcome to my channel. I'm Linda from Linda's Papercraft, even lindaspapercraft.co.uk, and I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator, and welcome to Coffee and Card January 2025. Goodness me. Right, so this month we're using the Cake Celebration stamp set, and it comes with matching dies as well. So those are some of the dies, and these are the dies we're using today. Okay, and this is the card that we're making today, and I've included one of these little gorgeous little bees, and they're called Tiny Bee Tiny Bee Trinkets. You get 40 of them in this little box. They're in the new catalogue, which goes live on the 4th of January. So really cute, and that actually, yes, obviously is covering up an ink spot. It is a embellishment opportunity. Okay, so I've already got the happy birthday stamps out. I haven't got the candles out. So to get the multiple candles like that, you do have to stamp it twice. So just going to get 2 little blocks out. Okay, and these are here. So I'll pop the candles on there and the flames on that one, and we're ready to go. Okay, so the colours I've used on this card, again, we're sticking with the Full of Life paper. So the design series paper. So in your kit you won't have a post-it note, but I've put that in for me. Okay, you will have the second largest Perenial postage die already cut for you, and then another piece from the Full of Life colour DSP, and I'm using this plainer side this time. I just love that. Just gorgeous, this design series paper. We have used it in Coffee and Card before, guilty as charged. I've got some gold paper, some very vanilla paper. You see that, the difference, that's in white, and I've done the icing in very vanilla. Piece of crumb cake, so just little scraps that you need. And then our card base is half a sheet of A4 cut at 14.85, and then I have scored it at 10.5, and that gives us our card blank. And I'm using thick basic white because it's just a bit more robust than the thin. So colours, we are using Lemon Lolly, Balmy Blue and Crumb Cake. Okay, as our palette, and you've got your usual Stampin' Up envelope as well. So let's get started, as they say in YouTube land. Right, so I think probably the first thing I'm going to do is cut this, and this is at 14.85 by 10 centimetres. So let's get out my trimmer. So I'm going to cut it at 10 centimetres first. I want more blue than green, so I'm cutting it from this side. So 10 centimetres still gives you a nice strip there, nice 2-inch strip to use on another card. And then 14.4, which will give me a nice even border around the edge. Okay, and I'm just going to stick that to the front of my card base, which is here. So you see, it is, I think it would just be too, oh, do you know, I am tempted to do it that way. Let's do it this way, because that's what I decided. I'm doing the green at the bottom because it sort of reminds me of grass. It just seems such a shame to cover this up, doesn't it? Right, let's go. We've committed now. There is glue on it. Notice very fine beads of glue. It's a really effective glue, this. You don't need, and the thicker the bead, the more it's going to show through, and also the wetter the card is, and you run the risk of it warping, which you really don't want. Okay, and wet glue just gives you that wriggle room. Okay, so and now I'm going to turn my attention to the die cutting first, because I need these elements so that I can position the rest of my stamping. So I am going to be using my little machine and these dies. So we have got, so that's the cake stand, and that's the cake stand trim. Okay, and then I'm using these little lines as the icing. So you can see the cake stand is 3D, and then these two are the icing inside the cake, and this is the frosting, and then this is the outside of the cake. Okay, so I'm just going to sneak in before I do my die cutting and stamp the pattern on the cake, which I also haven't got out. I'm not my usual preparedness today. I think because actually I'm squeezing these in before Christmas, hence the nails. So that because January is the first Thursday in January, I think is the 2nd. So I do need to be up and running as soon as all the festivities are finished. So, and I'm just going to stamp that on with crumb cake. So I'm stamping crumb cake on crumb cake. Just like that. It's like a little map, doesn't it? Well, I think it does. Okay, pop that off to one side. And let's get the big die cutting machine, the little die cutting machine out and get some cutting done. Okay, so it is one of my favourite pieces of Stampin' Up kit, this. It's just so useful. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that out. So I've just positioned it on, somewhere on the pattern. Just to give a little bit more detail to the image. Okay, there we go. And then if we do our gold, so this one, we've just got the cake stand and the extra bit. I love the way that Stampin' Up thinks of these little things. Just to give your project a little bit more detail. Okay, so I'll put those back on there before they get lost. There we go. And then on the very vanilla, I'm just going to cut the strips of icing and then the frosting for the top of the cake. This does cut 3 strips and 2 strips of frosting. You do only actually need 2 strips and 1 strip of frosting, but oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Put that there. Put this away. I just realised I haven't got the bee out. It's just there. That one will do. And then 1, 2, 3. Oh, don't want to come out. If you do both ends, you'll do all your Linda. Come on. There we are. So that's all the die cutting. And now I am going to get my tweezers, don't want to come out, and my silicone mat, which also has disappeared. Okay, I am going to put the cake together. Okay, so we just need 2 pieces of icing and the longer piece of frosting, so that's going to go on the top, and then put 2 pieces of icing on, so that can, I don't think I'm going to keep that right. Okay, so let's get the glue. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of the frosting. And it is slightly longer than the cake, so you need to sort of, oops, see that's why it's on here and not on my paper, because that would have caused a right mess. Okay, so and I'm just popping that on there. And you see it's just overhanging slightly on either end. And yeah, just on the edge there. So I'm just very slightly see it above, so you're not seeing any cake coming through the frosting. And then we'll do these two. Is that the right way around? Yeah. So yeah, the back of your dies will have a very slight ridge on them when you're looking. So to check. Oops, turned it over, turned it back again, get out of the glue. Does it have a little mind of its own, this? That's a bit too much in the middle there. Oops, nearly put it in my coffee. So I'm just going to spread that out a bit. There we go. And move that away. Okay, this one's not too bad. There we go. Put that to dry to peel off later. Shh. And then I'm just going to pop that. Again, slightly coming out as a side, as all good cakes should. And then, yeah, the glue is too, which is not what all good cakes should do. And then I'm just going to pop that second piece on above it. And there you've got your cake. Just a bit up at that side and a bit, I'm just going to push it a bit that way. That's pesky pieces of icing. There we go. Okay. There we are. So one cake ready to go. And then I'm just going to, now do be careful with this. I think I'm actually going to use the glue on here because you do not want any glue on your gold because it won't be shiny anymore. There we are. See, useful. And then again, just going to pop that. Line it up on here, just like that. Okay, there we go. Right, I'll just pop that to dry. And now we can start putting the card together. So what I'm going to do first is glue on where I want or position my cake stand. So I'm thinking about there, and then I'm going to do my stamping. So I've got birthday and then happy probably is, yeah, happy's going to fit there. So let's just get out our crumb cake and I'm going to stamp birthday first. So if you're worried about it not being perfectly straight, you can use a stamping platform. And because I want the words quite close together, I'm using them on separate blocks. Because if you try and do it on one block, I think they're too far apart for the way I'm doing this. So this time, what I'm actually going to do is, you can see I've put my PP between the B and the T, and then the Y goes snugly in there. Sorry for touching the... Happy birthday, I think we're about there. Ugh! Are we happy with that? No, we're not. If in doubt, emergency other side. Right, so we'll do the birthday first. And what I'm going to do is swap the happy onto this block. Okay, so happy with birthday. Now, I couldn't see the birthday through the narrow block. So what I'm going to do is swap over and put the happy somewhat straighter there on the wider block, and then I can see the word birthday. See, much better. So bigger block so you can see what you're doing. I was trying to reduce the number. Well, I had a class 2 weeks ago last Friday and I still haven't unpacked it. All my blocks are in there. Right, so that then is going to go there. So I think we're going to stick that on. And then we need to position our candles. So pop some glue on here. Put on our cake stand. Just there. And then pop the cake on the cake stand. Okay, now I'm now going to drop it a little bit, and I'm going to use a post-it note somewhere as a guide as to where I want to stamp my candles. Okay, so I've just put that across, and then, because I don't want little blue lines on my cake, and I'm going to do 2 lots of candles roughly in the middle of where the cake's going to be. So 1, 2, and then we're going to put on our little flames. Now they are very subtle in the Lemon Lolly. If you want a brighter frame, then go for the Daffodil Delight. I'm just going to line those up as best I can without knocking the light, which is failing miserably. And there. Okay, so the candles are roughly where I want them. And now I'm going to add the cake. So let's just check. So yeah, there we go. So the cake's going to go on the cake stand, and there's perhaps a little bit lower than I'd like, but have a play. And then they've obviously been lit for a while. You can always trim off the bottom of the cake if you're not happy. So just pop that on the cake stand. There we go. And then that's going to glue onto the front of the card. Go. And then I'm just going to pop a tiny dot of glue where I want my little bee, and I don't have to cover up a piece of ink, an ink dot this time. So I'm just putting a little tiny weeny dot there, and getting my pokey pick up tool. So, and it is, they are very, they're delicate, and they also don't want to turn over, so that they're, so the pattern side up, and just pop him on. There he is. Okay, how cute is that? 40 in a pack. Gorgeous. Right, okay, so that's week 1 of January 2025. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.